2601. Roll call.
All board members are present except for Mr. Finley.
Mr. Finley did call. He's still having some health issues, but he won't be here tonight. Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On to the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thanks to everybody who showed up. And public comments. In order to provide consistency and fairness to all individuals, public comments will be heard in accordance with board policy DED local and procedures outlined in administrative regulation DED. Comments should be limited to topics such as policies, curriculum, and facilities. Any direct criticism of a specific employee will not be heard during public comments and should be considered separately as provided in board policy. In this context, individuals are cautioned to not identify any employee by name or by any combination of words or descriptions which would identify the employee to another individual. You've heard this enough times, Dr. Patrisky? Okay, I'll refrain from reading the rest. Dr. Patrisky?
Good evening, Mr. Westbrook, members of the board. And I will be reading my comments from my phone. I know Mr. Perkins loves using those cards, and so keeping timeline. My comments are directed toward the superintendent search process. First, I want to commend y'all for your very hard work and your diligence. But here are some key points to keep in mind based on my experience working in various sized school districts in Texas and having been part of many processes for getting the superintendent on board. Number one, superintendent applicant should have a minimum of 5 years as successful actual classroom teacher experience. I can always tell the superintendent and how they handle things, and when they're usually surprised when I come up to them, I said, "You've taught for several years, haven't you?" It's like, yes. And they just have that natural rapport with the folks who matter the most, and that's our students and our staff. Number two, please obtain financial and academic status of the applicant's current school district, inclusive of each individual campus in the district during their tenure. Very important. Number three, verify that applicants are not currently or previously have been under investigation for anything. They always come to light. And let me tell you, the community doesn't take it lightly when it does. So please do your due diligence on this. Number four, please ask the applicants, why are they seeking to leave their current district? Number five, please do not limit the scope to applicants from same size or larger school districts. Smaller school districts can yield a superintendent that really has to be hands-on in a smaller school district, and they know how to do it as well. pretty much, they have to do it all. And those traits, those skill sets do carry over into a larger school district because they've had hands-on experience. Number 6, a play on JFK, quote, ask, what can the superintendent do for SCUCISD? Not what SCUCISD can do for the superintendent. We have a great school district that anybody would want to come to, but they need to bring their game to make this better for us. Thank you for your diligence in the superintendent search, and good luck to each one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Petrisky. The board will now adjourn into closed session pursuant to the following sections of the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Section 551.074, authorization to deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer, or to employ, or to hear a complaint or charge against an officer or employee. The time is now 6:07. The time is now 8:54. We have reconvened back in the open session. We have a request for board action approval for the number of applicants to be interviewed for the position of superintendent presented by Robert Westbrook. We had a small discussion. We came up with a number. May I have a motion?
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Trustees approve a total number of 7 applicants as discussed in closed session to be interviewed for the Schertz-Cibolo-Universal City Independent School District Superintendent position.
I second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes unanimously. Is it appropriate for me to tell them that the questions will be emailed to Butch Feltner in the future by Friday? And at some future date in open session, we will discuss those, or is that appropriate or no? You tell me the process.
You won't be discussing the interview questions.
Exactly, the number. Okay.
Because those will be an actual interview only for the interview.
Okay,
The number you can disclose if you'd like to.
all right. Thank you. Yeah, the number, once we come up with a final number, because it's still,
You can.
still in flux. All right. You also want to, if you don't mind, it says I'm going to discuss it, but if you mind sort of telling us the process from this point forward until the next month or so?
Correct. The first thing we need to know is that where will you have, what location exactly will you be conducting the interviews?
Dr., I was about to call her, Dr. Dee Dee. Amy, myself, and Dee Dee Etram have discussed it. Where was it, Amy?
The purchasing department.
Yeah,
Over in the conference room.
the purchasing department, the conference room.
Yeah.
Okay.
For your first round, and you'll need to determine where you want to conduct your second round.
Purchasing department.
In the back,
Okay.
Yes, really back here.
right back here, it's easy to come in now.
Now, what we will need to maintain the confidentiality is that we will need to have someone to greet the candidate when they arrive, because we don't want them walking in to a interview that's currently in session or something like that. So in other words, someone that can take a candidate to a location and hold them until the board's ready for the interview to start, and then they'll bring the candidate in for the interview.
Davis, is there an area in that, is there a place in that area, or where would we hold that next person? Because
I think we had it scheduled enough time where we would only have that one candidate coming in.
If they got there early, though.
well, yeah, but
If,
we had it happen last time, we had,
can it be held in here? Is there anything going on?
The problem was, Dr. Dixon said, yeah, we had discussed that conference room. I thought we were having a conference room, not a nursing, because there was an easy come in and take someone out the other way
coming
and not
down
see each
here,
other.
and then
There
they
is,
go out. and
it's
they-
just, it will be open the entire time in here.
Yeah.
So when you're bringing a candidate from that area possibility you could have people in the hallway or
Yeah.
people in here
Okay.
that you would,
Well, I was just, I didn't know if there was another office in there where somebody could be held and they wouldn't cross paths, because we did have it happen. The last, when we interviewed, when we hired Dr. Gibson, we did have people crossing paths.
there are,
Because sometimes the interviews run over a little bit, you know.
yeah, there
That's
are
all I'm saying.
offices back there that
We can use.
you could, to put into.
Do you need to know that right now? Or are you gonna,
We have to be able to tell the candidate where they need to show up and that someone will be greeting them there.
can we identify a person, Dee? Or will that be you or Priscilla?
I don't have confidentiality.
So it has to be a board member? Or
No.
No.
Someone who has signed a confidentiality agreement can do that.
It's only the team of 8 that signed.
Did you
I did.
Priscilla, and Priscilla will have to do it. So we've identified a person, now we have to,
We may have to have four people sign it.
Yeah, it would just be a case of having somebody else sign it, just sign it.
And where to meet?
I would recommend that you limit that to 2,
Okay.
because you don't want 3 or 4 people.
Yeah.
Because that defeats the whole purpose of this.
well, that's Priscilla, so that's one, so we need one other person. Can we find somebody before tomorrow morning? So
Dee.
We'll just go with that.
So we can identify 2 people?
You'll be the one? You said?
Dee and Priscilla.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be here anyway that
Dee
night.
Priscilla.
Priscilla, if you will
Multiple names.
email Dana tomorrow and request a confidentiality agreement. That's all.
So now we have the 2 individuals, we just need the location of the holding room.
Or where they would go
So
to.
the purchasing department, if you have it out there, they could drive in through the gate into that back area to park. That was another reason we thought possibly to have it out there, you wouldn't have.
Yeah, that area's fine, it's just,
So if you want to go ahead and have it out there, then we'll just plan on, being out there. We'll have to have other people up here in this building, administrative personnel up here, if we were both back in that facility. So we could do that, and then have a talk with Matt about where the best area would be.
You're only needing someone for not the first one, but
It's the second one,
the
right.
second one.
Right.
Because that's the one that would be, even though we tell them not to show up early, sometimes we have some eager viewers that like to be here early.
Okay, so technically, we have until approximately 11 o'clock tomorrow morning to get you that information, because I'm supposed to make a phone call to you.
That is correct.
Okay.
That's correct.
Dee,
So what we will do is tentatively go with the purchasing department, and
Yes.
then we'll leave it at that. All we need to do is tell the candidates where the location where they need to report, and that's all that we do.
and to whom to report?
And that's it. Yeah.
All right. And to answer your final question for those who are watching, will be 21 questions that will be asked, correct?
Correct.
21 questions.
Okay, once the interview starts, what will happen is that Mr. Westbrook will welcome the candidate into, and thank you for coming. And after that, and by the way, your script is in that booklet we just gave you. Thank them for coming, and at that point, he's going to say, at this time, the board is going to introduce themselves to you. And at that point, they will start off, and he'll say, I'm David, and this is what I do for a living, and then we move right on. Because once David starts, then the clock starts ticking at that point, okay? So you will need to move quickly through that, so you'll give him plenty of time for the candidate to have enough time to respond. So after that, then Mr. Westbrook's going to give, he's going to ask the candidate, now that the board has introduced themselves to you, we'd like for you to share a little bit about yourself that maybe is on or not on your resume. And at that point, they're going to give you information that you cannot maybe legally ask. They might tell you about their family, they might tell you about lots of things. So you'll need to make sure you take very good notes during that point, because that could come back and determine if this person's gonna be the right fit for you. So you need to take all that in and write it down. Then at that point, after they finish, then Schwartz is going to say, at this point, the board is going to ask you a set of questions, and then you will start with your first question only. You'll go around and you'll ask your first question, back around until you'll ask your second question, back around until you ask your third question, until all questions have been asked. All right? Then after that, Ms. Schwartz will ask the candidate, the board is finished with our questions. Do you have any questions for us? And the candidate most likely will ask you questions. Now, whatever your protocol is, Mr. Westbrook, you can answer the question directly yourself, or you could say, is there a board member that would like to respond to that question? Now, saying that, if he says, is there a board member, and let's say Jerry says, I'll respond to the question. Jerry's response is what we're going with. This is not a debate. We're not going to add on or take away, or I don't agree with that, or anything like that, because whatever Jerry's going to say is the answer, okay?
Yes.
And then we'll go to the next question,
Okay.
because this is not the time, to go back and forth with that. Then once the candidate has finished asking their questions, then the last question that you will ask, Mr. Westbrook, is what salary range would you be expecting if you came here as superintendent? And they're going to give you a range of salary. Now, if they give you $275,000 to $325,000, don't fall out of your chair or drop your pen or grab your heart or anything like that. Just write the numbers down and let it go. Okay?
Yes.
That ends the interview at that point. Okay? It is a 90-minute interview. It is not 95 minutes. It's a 90-minute interview. Okay? So make sure that you govern, we tell them to govern their time accordingly. Okay? So we do not coach the candidates through this. We tell them the format only. They do not have any idea what the questions will be. All they know is it's a 90-minute interview, and here's how the format will work. And that's pretty much all they know. And then that will conclude the interview. You can thank them for coming, and you can tell them that Mr. Felker or Dr. Strauss will be in contact with you when the board makes a decision. And that's pretty much how it works, the first round.
Any questions from the board?
I guess, a lot of that is are we timing each question or some kind of way of them basically otherwise?
That's a good question. Thank you. Thank you for asking that. I would recommend that you have a timekeeper, and that the timekeeper notices that you're on question 15 and you have 10 minutes left. Okay. Probably a little longer than 2 minutes, but anyway, you have 3. You're you're on question 15 or 16 and you have 10 minutes left in the interview. At the appropriate time, the timekeeper will say, Mr. President, board members, we have 10 minutes remaining in the interview. And that's all you have to say. And then you will keep going to the next question, but you'll reserve that last minute for your salary question. If the candidate runs out of time, that's on them, because they know the time.
So when we're doing superintendent of the year evaluations for the TASB Board of Directors, we usually give them at the halfway mark, like you're at question number 12 with 30 minutes left. And is that appropriate, or is that totally up to us? I mean, that would give them some indication of where they're
That's
at.
totally up to you. But we don't want to cause them to start counting the questions. So, but whatever you want to do is fine with us.
It just seems somewhere at the halfway mark, it'd be a good indication of giving them a good heads up to sort of say, hey, you're 45 minutes into a 90-minute interview.
And remember, some of these folks, their interview won't last 90 minutes. Some of them will last, maybe 70 minutes. And so, that would be on, that's up to them. But that's okay. They know it's a 90-minute interview, and we tell them don't rush through it, but don't run out of time either. So, and it's okay to smile at the candidates during this interview, okay? we had a board one time say, for a candidate tell us that they never smiled, and they were told that they weren't supposed to smile. And we're like,
I'll leave my charts at home.
We said, we have never heard that. We've never ever said that before.
We're talking about it.
I know, it's perfect.
Any further questions?
One other thing.
Yes, sir.
Once you ask the question, for example, if Amy asked her question, the candidate would say, Amy, can you explain that question? Amy's going to say, no, I can repeat the question, because an explanation is a stall tactic. And so Amy is just going to repeat the question, and that's it. No explaining anything. Come on, Gary.
It's not live stream.
Any further questions or comments?
Dr. Strauss?
You have a lot. You have several different things to go over in your packet, just to help you with that, and so if you have time, I would recommend just going through it.
Absolutely, thank you. Make sure you hold on to this packet, because we will be using this in our second round review when we come back, I think on the 19th at 5 o'clock. We'll be going over this in a little bit more detail, so please hold on to this if you can.
Okay. Yeah, just clarification, so neither one of you are going to be with us at any time during any of these interviews in the first phase, right?
That is, we are not present at any of the interviews.
When and how do you then make a selection on who then goes to the next round?
That's a very good question, and thank you for asking that. On the 14th, I would recommend that you stay after a little bit that evening and go through the process much like we did this evening and narrow that group down. Some boards, most of our boards like to do it then because it's fresh on your minds. You don't have to. You can wait till the 19th till we're here and do that. If you're just totally wiped out and exhausted, you can certainly delay that. But most boards like to get it done then. And then at that point, you will come up with the number that you're going to bring back the second time. And
All right, thanks.
Yep, we'll get it done. I have the perfect moderator in mind already. That's all I'm saying.
okay, good.
Oh, yeah. Any further questions, comments? Anything else, Butch?
And we're available to, if you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to give us a call. We're certainly available to you if you need us for any reason.
All right. Amy and I have your number, but
Yeah, and everybody has your email, because by 5
You have
o'clock
my email?
Friday, yes.
Even on the 14th, if you get stuck deciding who your three are, just call, or we'll try, or four, or whatever you decide. You can call, and we'll be happy to try to walk you through that night.
And we could even finish that discussion on the 19th.
You
if we
can.
need
You
to.
certainly
Yes.
can.
When we email you the questions that we have chosen, can we just do the number rather than write the whole question?
Certainly can.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. Now, please make sure that, because this has happened before, make sure that you put your name on who's sending this, because sometimes it comes up with emails that are not related to your name. And I've had that sometimes with board members, and it's like, who is this sending me these questions? So, yeah, so only certain trucking company, I don't know who that is, so anyway, make sure just identify yourself so I'll know who's what.
and we were supposed to send you 3, but we have to send you actually extra in case other people, members, or
That is correct. Yes. And send me whatever number that you like, but I will take your top ones, and that will be the one that I'll go through first.
thank you very much. If no other questions, if I could motion to adjourn. 9:12, adjourn. Thank you, Dee. Thank you, Priscilla.